kids. Fuck the kids? Yeah.
When I say, who's the master? You say,
Good evening, guys. Showing up the King here, back with another video, and today I am doing something incredibly different. It's going to probably be incredibly controversial with everything going on, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Alright, so this is going to be a direct response video. This is going to be a video talking about the Haslab from Marvel Legends, the Hell Charger, Robbie Reyes from Ghost Rider. And this is going to be a direct response to Articulated Ninja. This is a YouTuber that I have been following for quite some time. I love his photos. I love his work. I follow him on Instagram and on YouTube. Love his stuff. Okay. So he's been, pretty vocal about his disdain for the pricing on the new Haslab Hell Charger. And he did a video where it was probably about a 30-minute video where he talked about all his reasons as to why the Haslab Hell Charger is overpriced, and he did like all these different comparisons. And again, he's just talking about the Haslab project in general. And I thought I would just take the time to kind of come on here. And I like to try to say it's almost like a debunk, but I really don't like to say debunk because again, that's his opinion, and again, his opinion is his opinion. But I do think the reason why I'm doing this response is I think that some of the things he showed was very disingenuous, and it wasn't really a fair comparison in some of the things he was saying. So that's kind of what I just wanted to talk about. Now I want to make it very clear here, okay? I do not care if you back this project or not, okay? Whether you like the Hell Charger, or you dislike the Hell Charger, whether you can afford the Hell Charger, or you cannot afford the Hell Charger, that is completely up to you. If this thing funds, great. If it doesn't fund, guess what? No sweat off my back. That's just another $350 that I can keep in my pocket. But I did back this thing because I believe in the product, I believe in the value, and I am willing to discuss why I feel the way that I feel. And that's why I'm doing this video today, okay? Again, I'm not trying to necessarily convince anyone on whether or not they should be buying it. I personally think it's a good value if everything is unlocked. And again, I'm going to explain that in a little bit further detail with some handy dandy slides. But again, let's go ahead and get into it. So again, Articulated Ninja, he came out, did his video, he addressed the whole Charlemagne Prime thing. Again, I also follow Charlemagne Prime. Again, he did his video, and I just wanted to kind of go in and talk about the gripes that I had with Articulated Ninja, his video itself. And again, I don't have a problem with him personally. I don't know the guy. Again, I am a small potato YouTuber compared to him. I think he has like 6,000, subscribers. I'm, ticking up to 2,000. So again, we're, apples and oranges, stuff like that. So let's go into it. Let's talk about it. Enough of this. So the first thing that I had an issue with Articulated Ninja is, again, he had this on his thumbnail for his video, plus he was using this as an example as to say why people are getting screwed out of the deal with this Haslab thing. And again, this is the first thing that I noticed that I thought was very, very disingenuous. So you look here and you see this, and at first pause, you're like, damn, this is... wow, Hasbro's charging $300 for the His Tank, and with the His Tank, you get 3 figures, and you get it, fully equipped. You get the missiles, you get the machine guns, you get the canopy with the tread guards, and da-da-da-da-da. And then on the other side, all you get is the muscle cars, some flame effects, and a figure. That sucks. Right? You look at that, and that's exactly the first thing you're going to say. But what you're not paying attention to is the fact that this whole thing is very disingenuous, because what he's comparing is the fully funded Haslab His Tank versus a base offering for the Marvel Legends Haslab. It's not fair. It's not a fair comparison. Like, what you're looking at on the left-hand side with the His Tank is once all the unlocks were done, and that is a great value for $300. You get the His Tank, you get the His Tank driver, you get the secondary His Tank driver, and I think you also got a third that came with the gunner. So I think with that His Tank, it came with 3 figures. It came with the His Tank driver. So I'm sorry. So the base offering for that His Tank Haslab for the $300 for the first people to get it was the His Tank itself, and the His Tank came with lights and sound, just like the Hell Charger, and it came with one driver. That is it. So for $300, you got the his tank, lights, driver, and then I think it had like a little beam light that can shine down on it, or whatever it is. So it had like a little light feature, and that was it. Once you unlocked all the other things, you got the extra figure for the early bird. Then you got another figure that came with the guns, and then you got the missile silo, the treads, and then you got the last one was the Cobra Commander. So yeah, once you look at that in its totality for $300, that's a big deal. But then you go into the other side and you're like, oh, you get the car, you get the flame effects, you get the figure, and then again for $350. Oh, that's a ripoff. But what you're not mentioning is that if this thing is fully funded, you will get 4 to 5 6-inch scale figures along with it, depending on how many unlocks they have. So then, if you compare the two, then the picture is a lot brighter, right? So think about it. You got $350. You get the muscle car, 6-inch scale. You get all the flame effects, the lights, the sounds. You get the Robbie Reyes, regular body, alternate head, 3 weapons, and a real chain. Plus 4 to 5 figures. How is that not worth $350? Explain it. Explain to me how, again, they just announced Mephisto on the 6-inch scale. And that was just the first unlock. There's going to be at least 3 to 4 more. You can sell those figures if you want on the open market, and you can get $150 for that Mephisto alone. Trust me, I've done it. With the Sentinel, with the Sentinel Haslab. I didn't need those figures, so I sold those 2 figures plus the extra head, and I got $20 for that. Put it on eBay, sold it, $200. So that took my Haslab Sentinel from $350 minus $200, and you do the math, okay? Boom, done. So again, you guys, I think the problem is that you guys don't future think. All you see is what's in front of you, and then all of a sudden you grab your pitchforks and you start yelling, but you don't look at the bigger picture. Hasbro knows what they're going to be adding into this thing. So when you see that $350 price tag, you should be looking at the entire thing if it gets funded. And then that's how you make your decision on whether or not this thing is going to be. And again, I get it. You know, you got people complaining, oh, what if all the unlocks doesn't happen, da-da-da-da-da. To this date, there has not been a Marvel Legends Haslab that has not funded. Both of the previous Haslabs has completely funded. First it was with the Sentinel, and then we got it with the Galactus, and you already saw what the Galactus came with. Why would this be any different? And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. But again, I digress. So then he showed this one again. Same thing that applies. You got the Sentinel, and then you got the Sentinel was $350, and then you look at this what you get, and then you see the 2 figures. You got the 2 heads. You got the destroyed head. You got the destroyed hand, and then you compare that to the base offering of the Hell Charger. Of course, it's going to look bad. Of course, it's going to look bad because you're not showing Mephisto in this thing. You're not showing the other 3 to 4 other figures that could be released with this thing. It's not a fair comparison. And then we showed this Batmobile, right? We got this $250 Batmobile from 2017 to 2018. And again, he goes back and he says something about inflation. And then when we get up to inflation, it's about $300 is what he said that was, right? Bet. Okay, so let's lowball it and say it's with inflation in 2022. This thing, if it came out today, it'd be worth $300. So you see this for $300, right? The Batmobiles, you got lights and remote control, video camera sounds, exhaust smoke, and then the remote control with the revolving guns. Now, here's the deal that number one, this is one thing that a lot of people complained about, and one thing that I have an issue with. When it comes to RC cars, I prefer the actual handheld remote with the thing. When you deal with these apps are a moment in time. Those apps, that app for that Batmobile thing probably doesn't even work anymore. If it's not getting updated in the Play Store, you can't, and even if it's probably not even in the Play Store right now. So if you were to pick this thing up and try to buy it yourself, you wouldn't be able to get it. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to get it, but that's besides the point. So let's say that this thing is $300 with inflation for 2020. That's all you get. You get the Batmobile, you get the you get the, and I think it came, I think it came with like some cheap ass Batman toy, if I remember correctly, right? It probably had like 3 or 4 points of articulation, not worth the paper was printed on, right? So if this was at $250 and this was $100 or more, you would still have to compare this to the final offering, which would be Robbie Reyes, the car, the flame effects, and the 4 to 5 figures that it would come with. And once you see that full picture, you would say, oh, which one would you rather have? You damn right you're going to take that Hell Charger. Right? So then we have this one that he shows. And this one is, again, it's probably like the biggest, the best example that he could have provided for this entire thing. Where you see this $110 RC car. It's a 110 scale, so it fits about 6 to 7 inch figures. And again, this thing has lights and sounds as well. And again, lights and sounds is a stretch because literally you have a very faint light in the front, and then you got like a little red light in the back. It's not even LEDs. It's just basically like a fluorescent light in the front and the back, right? Right. The doors don't open on this thing. Again, I've even watched reviews of this thing where it's kind of tough to get figures in there. The doors don't open. The trunk doesn't open. It doesn't really have a trunk, but nothing else is really going on with this thing, right? It's just a simple RC car. And again, the biggest difference is that it's not a Dodge Charger, and that's what we want. That's what I want. If this was any sort of other kind of car, I wouldn't be buying it because you know what I want? I want a muscle car. I want something like the Dom Toretto car from Fast and the Furious. I want something that was from the Punisher or from Blade. That is what I want. I want the 69 Dodge Charger. That is what I want. And again, if you are going to compare that, then you should be comparing it to that. And you know why a lot of people have not been doing that? Because it does not really exist. There is no 1-to-1, 112 scale Dodge 69 Dodge Charger out there and that will fit 112 scale figures, right? Trust me, again, like I said in my own personal video, I checked. And I'm about to prove it to you. But again, like I said, I got the receipts. Let's talk about it. So I went on ahead and I did my own version of comparisons. And this is what I came up with, right? Here it is, right? You see this? 1969 Dodge Charger. This is a die-cast 112 scale replica, right? This thing is beautiful. Again, the only thing that is missing is it doesn't have like the little raised engine coming out of the front. This is just kind of like a base model one. But again, this is what, if you want a Dodge Charger that is in a 112 scale, look at the cost of this. And again, keep in mind, it's not exactly a 1-to-1 scale because again, this is all die-cast. But again, the doors don't open. The trunk doesn't open. It is just literally a die-cast car. $258. And that is a discount from the original price of $300. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This stuff is not cheap. This hobby is not cheap. Yes, sure, you can find some cheap plastic RC car that could look like a Dodge Charger, but if the doors don't open, if the trunk doesn't open, if all I can do is just pose my figure on the outside of it standing next to it, then I don't want it. That's not what I want. That's not what anybody wants. People want to be able to interact with these toys. This is why I want it. You want to be able to put your Blade or your Robbie Reyes or your Punisher on the inside of the car. You want to be able to put somebody in on the other side. You want to be able to have him open up the trunk and be taking weapons out or throwing a bad guy into the trunk. You want to be able to lift up the hood and have him fixing the car or whatever it is. Again, Articulated Ninja should know this because, again, you are a professional photographer. So these are the kind of things that makes your job easier is when all these extra features are added. And again, look at this. A die-cast figure is $300. Now imagine putting this up against the Haslab. The Haslab clearly wins. All right, I got one more for you guys, all right? So the funny thing is that this isn't the first time that a Dodge Charger had popped across my my page, right? So guys, look at this thing. This is a 112 muscle car series. This is supposed to be the Dodge Charger 69 Dodge Charger, 6.5 inches. Supposed to design to fit a 112 scale figure, as you can see here. Just show you guys some of these photos. I pre-ordered this, right? BBTS had this for sale, right? And I bought it. So again, you're looking at this and you would probably think to yourself, compare this to the Haslab, right? The Haslab blows this thing away. Let's be clear. This thing looks like it was a 3D printed POS. But again, at the time, this was the closest thing you can get to a Dodge Charger on the market for 112 scale figures. Like, this thing was literally on the market. And again, 17 inches long. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll go check. The Haslab one is 18 and a half inches long. This is 17 inches long. This one is 6.3 inches wide, and the Haslab one is 7.5 inches wide. So it's bigger than this one. And this one is 4.8 inches high, and this one is, and the Haslab one is 5.5 inches tall. So the Haslab one is by far larger in every way, shape, or form, right? Right. So now, how much do you think this costs? And the reason why I'm talking about this is because look at the imperfections on this thing. This thing is not great quality, right? This literally look at the tires, look at the engine, look at the fact that when you open up the front engine, you can still see the figure's foot. That's not really professional. The trunk opens up. Look at the door. The door is kind of janky. Look at that. Again, janky. You can see the figures throughout the outside of the car, right? How much do you think this thing costs? $30, $40, $50. This thing costs $110. $110. And guess what? It sold out. It was on BBTS for maybe a week and it sold out. Like, I got it the second that they, because I order a lot of 112 stuff from BBTS, they tend to send me emails whenever they got things that are like the things that I have in my on hold stuff. And they sent me this thing, and I saw this thing. And again, like I said, this is something that I have been looking for years, trying to find a Dodge Charger. And this was the closest thing that I could find. And it was $110. Now, I don't know about you, but I would much rather have the Haslab Hell Charger that comes with a way better looking charger, flame effects, and 4 to 5 figures for $350. I would much rather pay that every day of the week before I pay $110 for this. And the only reason why this didn't even happen, because they ended up canceling the project. I actually got a email from Big Bag Toy Store about 3 weeks ago, about a month ago, saying that due to unforeseen circumstances, this product, this muscle car was canceled. Actually, it was on August 4th to be exact, because I'm looking at the email right now. It says, due to extreme lateness and lack of information from 112 Garage regarding this car, we have made the decision to cancel all pre-orders because it's unclear whether or not this item will actually be produced. And again, it was like if they ever decide to make it again, they would put it on the market. So again, bottom line is that in the end, I just wanted to say that when it comes to value, that is a very personal choice. Yes, I know there are a lot of people that go out and they try to say, oh, well, you know, this isn't worth it, and this and that. And again, that is your prerogative. Again, I am not here to change your mind per se. I am just here to try to say that if we could just stop with all the attacks and all the craziness, because again, everybody who, again, that said the Haslab was a great success and the Haslab was very fairly priced, there was hundreds of people who complained about the Haslab his tank as well. There is always somebody that is going to complain with these Haslabs. Every single Haslab that has been announced has had people complaining about the price. Every single one. There has not been one single Haslab where everybody saw the price was like, you know what, that's a very fair price, I'm going to buy it, and everybody was kumbaya. Every single one had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people complaining about the price. So the bottom line is me saying it is that you can't make everybody happy. But what I am saying is that let's try to be a little bit more fair with our comparisons. Again, what I am saying is that if you look at this thing in its totality, $350 for a car and 4 to 5 figures plus the effects is more than worth it. Especially if you think that you're only buying it for the car, sell the figures on on eBay, and you will make your money back in spades. It's not that difficult, I promise you. But again, let me know what you guys think. Again, no hate to Articulated Ninja. Again, I just felt like I just had to respond. It was just it was really sitting. This was sitting on my chest, and I just had to get it out. So again, rate, comment, subscribe. This is Showing Up the King, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.